Hello and welcome to my channel Making Crafts. Today I'm working on Roxy's weekly challenge, and this is from several weeks ago. I am a little bit behind on my challenges. So for this challenge we're making fabric tags, and I have taken and glued about 3 dictionary pages together and then collaged the backs of these. My dictionary pages were pretty thin, so I decided to glue that many together and then to collage the backs. And so it made it stiff enough that I think it makes a really good thickness for a tag. So now I'm just going to cut down these tags, and I'm trying to get about 3 tags per page, and so they vary just a little bit in width, and so most of them around 3 inches, 3.5, 3.25, depending on the size of the paper. And so I thought that was a good size for these tags, and so then I just left them the length of what this sheet of paper was, how wide it was. So once you have all the tags cut down, next it's time to add the muslin to the tag. And so, or any fabric that you want to use. I'm using muslin because I thought that it was a good thickness for the fabric to be on the tag, and it's also an inexpensive choice to add to these tags, since this was my first test of making tags like this. But I also like using muslin in my journals. I love the color of it. I love just the natural look of muslin. And so you're just adding the muslin to the front of the tag, and I am gluing it down with Fabri-Tac. And so anytime that I put fabric to paper, I do use my Fabri-Tac. And so then once I have it glued down, I am trying to rip the fabric rather than cut it, but with a small piece like that it was just too hard to do, because I want my edges to be pretty ragged, pretty frayed, because I am going to sew around these, so I'm not concerned about them fraying more. Also, when you glue it down with the Fabri-Tac, the fraying is not going to continue once it gets to the paper, since it is glued down. But I am going to sew around these, so that will help with the fraying not continuing to keep fraying with the fabric. So I do trim it off with my scissors some, but then I try to kind of fluff it out, kind of get that little frayed look, because I don't want it to be smooth and a perfect cut. And so I did cut the tag shape at the top, and I just did that by cutting one side and then, swapping the little triangle over to match. And now I'm using my Tim Holtz Entomology stamp set, and I'm going to use the text stamp from this set. And I love this. This stamp itself was worth the price of the whole set, but I love the little insects and stuff in the set, but I use this stamp constantly. It's perfect for text. Anytime you need a background text, this one's perfect. So I am using it, and I have put it on a block this time, and I'm just going to stamp randomly around the tag. And as you can see, it doesn't stamp the full image when you do like that. You can just get partial image, and so that's what I wanted for this tag. And I am using my black archival ink to stamp the fabric. And today, for the decorations that's going on the tag, I am using the ephemera kit. It's a fussy cut kit from Happiness and Crafting, and this is a kit that I was using for my design team when I made the charms in a previous video, and I can link to that video below. And I'll also link to this kit in the Happiness and Crafting Etsy shop so that you can check it out. There is tons in this kit, and so that's what I'm using today for these bookmarks. And so now I am just stamping the upper corner of the tag with a little button stamp that I have from Bo Bunny. And so that little stamp I thought was perfect to go along with this little dress form. And I'm adding a little bit of soft suede ink over top of the image, since my muslin is not white but more of a beige off-white color. I'm adding just a little bit of the soft suede to the images. That way it kind of blends and has the whole little vintagey feel that I was going for. And then this ribbon is some ribbon I found on clearance at Walmart, and it looked like a vintage type ribbon. So I grabbed it up, and I wish I'd have bought more because I really love this spool of ribbon, and I doubt they'll have it ever again since it was on clearance. So I'm just adding it to the bottom of this tag, and I thought it looked cute. And like I said before, I'm going to sew around these, so I am just adding everything with Fabri-Tac, but I'm not using a ton of glue, since I will be sewing around the edges and things, and so the ribbons will be sewed on. Now I'm using a lot of glue on the paper, because the paper, when I glue paper to fabric, I still use my Fabri-Tac even on these little ephemera pieces. And so I'm just going to attach that to the front. And I love how these tags turned out. This was a wonderful idea by Rachel from Roxy's Creations. And so I've really enjoyed doing all the projects, and this was just another one I enjoyed. And so now I just went around the edges with the soft suede just to give it more of a vintagey feel. And then I punched a hole with my Crocodile. Now I'm going to be honest with you, this punch does not do well on the muslin, which is okay because I am going for the ragged look on the sides, so it's okay that the hole is not crisp, but I really struggled to get that hole punched. So I'm going to put a ribbon in it so it'll be fine, or a fabric or something in it, and so it will be fine, but it was a little hard to punch. And so each tag is going to be pretty much the same. You're going to add your muslin to the top or your fabric to the top, whichever you chose. You're going to cut your corners off to make your tag, and then you're going to stamp it. But each one I've done a little different, so I thought I would show you the process for each one because I've used different bits and pieces and different stamps on each one. And so with this kit, the Fussy Cut kit from Happiness and Crafting, there's so many different little themes and pieces. The reason I decided to use it was because these tags will work for many different journals that I have that I'm making, so I won't have to use these all in one specific journal. If I made them all with birds, I'd feel like it need to go in a specific bird journal, or the floral ones, I guess birds and florals could go in different ones, but this one, since it's so many different pieces, I thought it would work for a lot of different journals. So now I'm pulling out my Bo Bunny butterfly stamp set, and I don't have that one handy, so I can't tell you the exact name, but it's a stamp set full of butterflies, and it's the same one I use in all my videos that have the butterfly stamp, because this is like my favorite stamp set. And that little butterfly is like one of my favorite butterflies. So once again, I'm just adding some soft suede to the front of the image, and then I stamped the little butterfly on the tag. And then I'm just going to add this image to the tag, and then I'm going to try to figure out what kind of ribbon or lace or what I'm going to put on this tag. And I wanted to make each one sort of different, so I settled on a piece of lace. And this lace is kind of a cream, peachy colored lace, and I thought it looked really good with this tag, so I added it to the bottom of this one. And I loved how this one turned out. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. And so once again, I just glued that down with some Fabri-Tac, and then I glued the image down with Fabri-Tac as well. And so for the third one, and I'm just speeding up through these since the process is the same for each one, adding the muslin, there's no difference. The only difference is the decorating. And so for this one, I'm using another Bo Bunny stamp, and this is the stamp. It's just, it has some little text, so I thought that I would use that one to make just a little bit different background on this tag. I wanted them all to be a little bit different, and so, which I tend to always use the Tim Holtz text stamp, so I thought if I could pull out this one and use it a little bit so that I could change things up a bit. And so this time I'm taking two of the images from the kit and I'm stacking those together, and then I pull out my other Bo Bunny stamp set, and I will list all the names of the stamp sets that I use from Bo Bunny and any of the stamp sets I use from Tim Holtz in this. I will list them all below so that you can search them out. Since I don't have them with me right now so that I can read off the names to you, I will list them all below so you can check them out if there's any that you are interested in. And so I'm just using that one. It has a lot of little scrolls and little designs, so I used that one at the upper corner there, and I loved how it looked. And once again, I'm just using the soft suede on the images just to give them a little bit of dullness to them, to take some of that white away, since it is a white background on most of these images. And then I'm adding a little piece of trim to the left-hand side of this tag. And I just went through all my trims and laces and ribbon and laid out several that I thought would match the muslin and look good with the pieces that I was using. And so I just tried to use variety on these. And you'll see me use this one a couple of times, and the other ribbon a couple of times. And so here I'm adding the little pearls, and I'm going to add these to the tag. What I forgot was that I was going to sew around these. So of course these are plastic pearls and you cannot sew over them. So you will see me, I do glue these pearls down, but when it comes time to sew, I actually have to pull them off, which they did finally come off pretty easily. So I pulled them off, and then I sewed around it and then I added them back. And thank goodness I used this glue instead of my fabric tack. I think the fabric tack probably would have held them tighter to the fabric. So I was able to pull them off without destroying anything, sew it down, and then add the pearls back on top. Because I thought the pearls looked adorable on it. But if you're like me and you're going to sew around it, remember to add the pearls or anything like that at the end. Okay, so now I'm back with my Tim Holtz background stamp, and I am going to stamp this one, just the whole stamp. I'm just trying to stamp the whole stamp across it and then add a little bit here and there where it didn't stamp. And so I'm just trying, something different with each one. And so then I pull out my little butterfly stamp again, and this time I'm going to put the butterflies over this tag on several places. And I absolutely love this little butterfly. I know I've said that before. I love butterflies, and I love using butterflies in a lot of my crafts. So you'll see a lot of butterflies in my projects. So I'm layering up a few of the ephemera pieces again. And I realized that I stamped my butterfly in a bad little spot because I like things in threes. So when I do butterflies like that, if I put two, I feel like I need a third one. So I like to do things in threes. So I went back and tried to figure out where I could add another little butterfly, since the ephemera pieces or the little decorative pieces were covering up that butterfly. So I found a little spot to have him peeping through over the side, and so that helped me to feel like it was balanced. I always feel like if I have one or two of something, I need three, or it's just not balanced out. And then for this one, I am just adding another piece of that little ribbon that I used earlier. And once again, I'm going back with my Tim Holtz stamp, and I'm just randomly stamping on this one. And then I cut the corners. And I think this would be the only way to cut the corners on this one. I don't think that you could, if you have one of the We Are Memory Keepers corner, the little tag maker, I think that it just wouldn't cut through the fabric. I would be afraid that it would just snag on the fabric, so I just used my scissors to cut these corners, and I think it turned out just fine like that. And so this time I stamped a little flower from Bo Bunny, and then I'm also stamping this little scroll piece. And you notice I'm not using a block for that one. And sometimes when I stamp, I don't use a block because I like the effect of it not giving a clear, crisp image. I just want a little hint of the image. So by not using a block, I can do that. And I loved layering up all these pieces from the kit. I thought they all went really good together and made good little clusters. And I will link below to the video where I use these to make the little clay charms, because those work out wonderful to go along with, if you're putting these in a journal, these tags in a journal, then it would be really cute to have those charms in the journal so that everything kind of matches together. So I will link that video below so you can check that video out. It was a pretty simple way to make charms. And I love this little bird here with his little flowers. And of course I had to add a little butterfly in. And so this is just another piece of the trim, and I really don't know where this trim came from. I've probably had it for years and years. I think that it was just handed down to me from somebody years ago. So it was just in a little bag of trims that I had. But I thought that this trim looked really good on these tags. So here I'm just showing you, once I completed them, I sewed them. I did not sew them on camera. And so here they are completed and sewed. And then I've added like lace on the top, or I've added fabric. This one has fabric in the hole at the top, and then there's another one with lace. And then that's a little piece of jute with tying a little bow, and then another one with the lace just folded over. And I really love how these turned out. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.